France is cracking down on its yellow vest protesters, the Gilets jaunes. Prime Minister Edouard Philippe says the government will strengthen its security rules and ban rallies in some areas. That comes after violence once again flared up again over the weekend. Joining us now from Paris is Katz. Alan, we're going to hear more about this as we go through the day and this week. Will the new measures then be enough to contain future violence, which has been running for a long time now?
Well, that's the big question. The protests had really been going down in both the numbers and in any sort of violence associated with them for several weeks until this past weekend. Then there was this big upsurge in violence. The French government has promised a much stronger response because they're aware that public opinion could turn decisively against them if they're not able to contain the levels of violence that were shown this past weekend, particularly with the burning of buildings, including a building where there was a family involved that could lead to casualties down the road. They really need to be able to get it done. And the question is, will it be enough to actually do that?
Why haven't the police? Are there sufficient security forces to stop this violence when you see a surge like we did over the weekend?
There are enough police if they're deployed. This happened back in, particularly in December, when the first sort of surge of violence happened. The French government deployed thousands and thousands of police. I think, if I recall correctly, there was 8,000 in Paris alone to contain the protesters. It didn't get rid of all of the violence, but it really did contain a lot of what these protesters could do, particularly the ones who are what in France are called the black blocs, which are sort of fringe political protesters rather than the traditional yellow vest protesters, who are there to try to cause damage and create mayhem. So if you deploy enough people, you can do it, but you have to have the people in place, and they have to be mobile enough to be able to stop a lot of these protesters who aren't declaring where they're going. They're sort of popping up.